I'm back. If you didn't watch the previous episodes about how can you generate your application using a Spring initializer, so please you need to watch it as well. So let's continue. We stopped last time on running our application. It was okay, everything is fine. I have completed initialization. I have the started, I have Tomcat, I have everything is okay. Now it's time to implement our first controller to convert this application into a RESTful application. From our main package, we are going to add a new package. We call this package controller. And under this controller package, we need to generate a new Java class. I will call this class address controller and enter. I have the address controller. How can you turn this address controller into a real controller which server later on will deal with it as a REST controller? I need to know the basics, two important annotations we are using to turn any class into a controller class. First one is at REST controller. By using at REST controller, I'm telling Spring Web that this class is going to be a REST controller, which means it has already inside or embedded body within it. So REST controller is two annotations at one. Two annotations at one. First one is a controller. Second one is a request body, which means this class, every single request inside it will return a body within the request itself. Second one is at request mapping. Request mapping is how can you map this class? What is the path you would like this controller to work with? I'm going to use the general standard of API and controller mapping and RESTful standard as well, that you always use the general mapping of the collections. Like it is here address. So this class is going in the future to return a list of addresses. So I'm calling it addresses as a plural. So you give the path a noun name. Something is familiar. What this class is going to return is address controller will return a list of addresses. In the future, we are going to dig deeper into this. Let's now return our first call from this controller. Let's make as a get mapping. That will be our first get mapping from this controller. I will call it public. At the moment, I'm going just to return a string. I will call it the string get address for the moment. And I'm just returning the class name. Return, and let's say address controller dot class dot get simple name. That's all. Now you have already a RESTful application ready to be restarted. Let's restart our application and check our first controller ever. So I'm taking this addresses path because this is the map for that controller, and let's test it under our local host. This is where the application is running, and I'm adding addresses as a path or a mapping for this class. As you can see, welcome on board. This is the class name address controller, which means that Spring already is familiar with this path. Any future call to this addresses automatically is going to invoke this class. So which means that in the future, any more mapping methods are you going to add them here, they will be under this addresses. But we will dig deep into the difference between mapping and other mapping criteria like post, put, delete, etc. So stay tuned for the upcoming video. See you next time to dig deeper into our Spring Boot application by examples. See you next time.